I'd like to formally say thank you for the few or the thousand that have stuck by for the past year or so. Um, so I I don't deserve the thousand. I really don't. Um, I never felt like I had ever earned such a number on YouTube. And even now, I'm kind of just sitting here, um, not sure about what I'm gonna do. I don't know if this is gonna be something that I stick with or if this is just yet another passing fad. I do know, however, is there's probably a few questions about just some of the things that I used to do and some of the things that I don't do now. I'm just gonna admit it. I don't know what direction I want this channel to go in. If it will even be a prosperous one at that. It's been nice though, making content that's not as difficult, I must admit, for the lack of skills that I possess when it comes to editing and just being able to stand out in the crowd. The Kashtira deck profile that I posted 3 weeks ago is sort of an enigma for me, because I haven't seen numbers like that in a long while. But I suppose a fair answer is why did I even get into YouTube? Well, back then, when I was especially bad at the game, I played on a Yu-Gi-Oh site called DMVR, which I have my own thoughts about. But back then, it was simply just, hey, I have this channel and I've never uploaded anything. I don't. And what's the harm if I upload one thing, right? And that was kind of my line of thinking. I really didn't put too much thought into it. Um, I mean, I've uploaded whatever. It wasn't until not too much later did I actually start and put in my first ever EDO Pro video, and I wanted to do it off one of my favorite characters ever, and not just in Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, and I thought I really understood the deck, which is why I went out of my way to make it. And then I did other things too. After a while, I got comfortable, and I just started to make more and more. I only think a handful of them are okay. Looking back now, they suck. They do. Um, they're not good videos. They're not well put together. And I was just really throwing everything out there with a little remorse for if it made sense or if it was well done. And you look at all the other videos that surround, and you kind of just think to yourself, after a while, with some retrospect, I had some balls to put bad stuff out like that. And I guess even now, and became more and more Yu-Gi-Oh centric as time went on for a certain while. Then kind of just stopped. I really stopped. And at the time, I said to myself, it's not that I don't enjoy the game. Contrary to that, I don't know, thought I could just make whatever, and it didn't always just have to be that way. And I deserve every bit of loss of drop or view or anything around that of relevancy for doing such a thing. I own that. It's my mistake. And frankly, quite a few videos have been taken down. I've taken them down or they got taken because I have such really bad choice of wanting to use music in some things and then in others. And it wasn't until even this year where I started to actually be able to understand the concepts of basic thumbnail editing, which is why they look so bad. They do. I can sit here and go, I'm in over my head with all of it. Who am I, a nobody, to tell anyone advice on this game or make stuff in general? Have I earned that privilege? Am I just coasting on blind luck because frankly the most views I've gotten were among the very first videos I made on the channel that have nothing to do with it. My channel has no identity. I fully accept that. And it's kind of an interesting spot really because when I started just slowly pumping stuff out again, I really didn't put too much thought if I really want to make something of this and try to get better, or am I simply just shit posting? It honestly feels like shit posting, even though I wouldn't mind if I pursued it more and tried different stuff. But even then, I haven't made a EDO Pro video in a long time. And frankly, it feels like I'm out of touch. And granted, I have ideas. It's not that I don't have ideas. It's just I'm an innately lazy person. and but at the same time too, I have other things going on. Um and I guess the bigger question is, even though I shouldn't care about this, would anyone care if I tried to make something of it? Tried to put content out and get my voice out there. I tell you what, I bless Sankara for telling me to do this after so long, but it took everything I had to even just put my voice out there. Part of what I liked was not having my voice out there. But when you see all these people doing deck profiles and just doing it so nonchalant, it kind of inspired me in some ways to do the same. I got a friend of mine on there, and I did my very own 2 deck profiles. Um, they're not great, but I don't apologize for that. I don't apologize for trying, but I do apologize for the quality of how bad or how lazy they are. I'm simply in over my head. I'm just not good at this kind of stuff. Like I said, I started this channel off just a whim of just wanting to do stuff. There really wasn't much more to it than that. It doesn't get any simpler. I just posted what I like on here. And frankly, a part of me still yearns to do that to some degree, even though I shouldn't. And it sounds hypocritical. It's not for the views, it's not for the fame, it's not for any of that. If you're just enjoying it, then why not? Well, I feel like, especially with the Yu-Gi-Oh content that I have, there are some things I'd like to say about the game. There are some things where I have an opinion on something, and some of it where I'm just maybe want to showcase, like what I used to do. And I feel like to some degree, to anyone that might stumble, might possibly think that something I say has merit or value to it, should at least have a semi competent channel that can, in fact, have stuff like that rather than having to just dig around, and find a bunch of other random videos in the mix. I truly am not worth of the 1,000 subs that I have of making this. I don't. It has been a kind of on and off thing. It has kind of gone up, it's kind of gone down. Um, but I am still thankful. It's a really unique opportunity, and you know, I can't say anything less. No one has told me to fuck off and stop, so I don't. I haven't yet. But there are things I would like to do, given the chance and given the enthusiasm by anyone maybe out there who might feel the same. Listen, I gotta be straightforward. I have very little to offer in terms of uniqueness in customizing videos or distinction in style. All I could offer is just myself and my perspective. And I like to think, to some degree, I've always been kind of a semi outcast for a lot of things that I like. Not to just stand out, but This just always the case. It just always feels like that's just how it ends up. Um, I still can't believe the cashier video has as many views as it does. I mean, honestly, God, those videos, especially when I started posting my own voice out there, it was so nerve wracking. There was something just so stressful about it. Even now, I'm sitting here going, maybe I'm just deluding myself making something like this, putting it out there. Who cares about any of that? And I wouldn't blame them for a second. This video is just supposed to be a celebration of the 1,000 subs, the channel being around for officially for 4 years, and the unknown future for it. I don't know if I could make it in the Yugi Tuber sphere. I frankly feel like I wouldn't get along with many, and I think that's a fair sentiment to have as well. But for as much as I don't see myself at least being able to make it big, I would still like to try and do something. Obviously, you don't need permission to ask. You just do. But I just wanted to put out there for anyone who does watch, cares at all. It means quite a bit. Um, for as bad as it all is, the fact that someone sat there, clicked on it, and viewed it is enough for me, frankly. It's quite a humbling feeling to see that. So, thank you. Sincerely. Um, I have videos that I'd like to make. And hopefully I don't get burnt out because, in all honesty, what happened before is probably a big part of just burnout and no channel identity. And while it may have not mattered too much to most, it mattered a big deal to me. After a while, it's all my own fault, to be fair. I did this to myself. But here's hoping I get better at this. Maybe find my niche, stand out, and just, maybe make a name for myself. Maybe get good enough to top or have some sense of channel pride. All that. That would be phenomenal. I would just like to thank everybody once again for the 1,000 subs. I know this is very long overdue, and it feels probably pitiful at this point to thank after so long, but I just wanted to say it. And if I dip below 1,000 again, that's fine. I honestly don't deserve to be this high up in the begin with. The Yusuke Fujiwara video, frankly, when it was out, for anyone who was around during that time, boosted the subs quite a bit. But it's a great duel, so I'm not really surprised. But at the same time, I treat myself as if I'm starting at the bottom, where I don't have a following, where I don't have people watching. That's how I treat all of this right now. And I honestly think that might be just the best way of doing this. So, even though it's 1,000 subs, I want to thank them and anyone else who watches. Doesn't even subscribe either. I don't really care about that. Just to just see though that I haven't been told to stop yet is a great feeling. I'm a bit unhinged. I must admit, I need to stop commenting on stuff as much. I have a really bad tendency of that, but otherwise, thank you. And here's hoping that in the future I don't disappoint quite as badly, and that maybe, just maybe, I make it okay on YouTube and just enjoy the process. Thank you, everyone.